Hello again and welcome to my channel. Today's tutorial is to make a dog bandana using the corner to corner stitch, and for these particular ones that I'm doing at the moment I'm doing them in rainbow colours. So because the next one that I need to do is for a different dog, I'm actually going to start with a different colour. I'm going to start with the blue. So as always, we're going to start with a chain, and I'll just pop that out of the way, and I'm going to chain 6. So slip knot onto the hook. Oh, I'm using a double knit yarn and a 4.5mm hook. So we're going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And then we're going to work 1 double into the 4th chain from the hook and the following 2 chains. So yarn over into that 4th chain, pick up a loop, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2, and then we're going to work a double in each of the next 2 chains. So there we've got 1 and oops, going to the right loop, and 2. We're going to cut off the yarn, leaving quite a long tail because I do want to work in the excess threads. So the next colour in the rainbow is my interpretation of the indigo. So I'm just going to start with a slip knot onto the hook, and again leave a long tail because we'll work the 2 tails in together, and then pull through the loop of the blue. Just zoom in a little bit for you. So now again we're going to work the chains, but for this particular design I'm just going to work 5 chains. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and then as you can see, because we've already got the loop from the blue, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So again we're going to come into this 4th chain from the hook and work a double. And again into the next 2 chains we're also going to work a double. So we've got the 3 chain that will be the starting stitch, which is here, and then we've got the 3 stitches. We're going to flip over, moving the tails out of the way, and into the loop here after the 3 doubles we've got the 3 chain start. We're going to slip stitch into there, then work 3 chain. That's going to count again as the first double, and we can just pull those tight, and into this same 3 chain loop we're going to work 3 doubles. So there we've got 1, 2 and 3. Again we're going to snip off the yarn, and the next colour in my sequence, as you can see on this one, is the violet. So again I'm going to slip knot onto the hook just to secure, and pull through the loop of the previous colour. I mean, you can do your rainbow in any sequence that you want. I am using the red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo and violet sequence. So again we're going to work 5 chain, oops, 5, and 1, 2, 3. So there we've got 1, 2, and the third double. And again, don't worry about the ends because we will work those in at the end. Flip over. We're now going to work into this loop here where we've got the 3 chain start stitch followed by the 3 doubles. We're going to work into this chain space with a slip stitch. Work 3 chain, again that's going to count as the first stitch, followed by 3 doubles, all into that chain space. So each row we're increasing by 1 block. It's useful when you work in a triangular shape. And again 3 chain after we've slip stitched into this last 3 chain space, and 3 chains. Oops, redo that one. 2 and 3, and again we're going to snip off the yarn, leaving a long tail, and in my sequence the next colour is going to be the red. So again we're going to work a slip knot onto the hook to secure the yarn and pull that through the loop of the colour before. We're going to work 5 chain, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and in the third chain we're going to work a double, followed by a double in each of the other 2 chains. I'll just redo that one, it's a little bit splitty this wool. Right, there we go, there's the third one. So we're going to flip over and work into this 3 chain space from the previous row with a slip stitch, and again we can pull those tight. So you're going to have quite a few ends trailing down, but we will fasten those off and work them in. So again we've got 3 chain as the first stitch, followed by 3 doubles into that same chain space, slip stitch into the next one, work 3 chain and the 3 doubles. We're going to carry on all the way along the row, so if you need to pause the video you can do so now and then restart once you've reached the end. And again into that last 3 chain space, I'm going to work a slip stitch, 3 chain and the 3 doubles. Snip off the yarn, and we're going to work in the orange, then I'll do a row of the lemon, yellow and a row of the green. So the next one on the list is orange. I'm using quite a bright orange on this one. I do want it to be a nice bright rainbow bandana. So slip knot onto the hook and just pull through the loop of the red. Work 5 chain, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Into the third chain we do the first double and a double into each of the next 2 chains. and then flip over, slip stitch into that first 3 chain space. I can pull those tight and work exactly as we've done on the previous rows with the 3 chain and 3 doubles, and each block is exactly the same. We're always going to slip stitch into the chain space and then work 3 chain, which counts as the first stitch, followed by the 3 doubles. So again, if you need to pause the video, do so now until you've reached the end of your row. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the 5th row. There we've got the 3rd. Stitch. So again, we're going to snip off the yarn and bring in the next colour, and in this case it's going to be the yellow. Depending which colour you've started with, your sequence may not be the same as mine. And again we slip stitch onto the hook and pull that through the loop of the orange and work 5 chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and again into the 3rd chain we're going to work the first double, followed by a double in each of the next 2. Flip over so that we've got the 3 chain space ready, where we're going to slip stitch and then work the same blocks all the way along. 3 chain followed by the 3 doubles. So I'll quickly go along to the end of this row, and again you can pause the video if you need to until you've worked to the end of your row. Slip stitch into the next, 3 chain and 3 doubles. Slip stitch into the last 3 chain space, and exactly the same as the previous blocks where we've got the 3 doubles. And again I'm going to snip off the yarn, and the next colour is going to be green. Just swapped the hook. I'm not sure whether it wasn't the hook that was causing the yarn to split there. So again we're going to slip knot onto the hook, pull that through the previous colour, work 5 chain, and then work the double into the 3rd chain, followed by 2 doubles, 1 in each of the next 2 chains. Flip over and working into the first chain space, we're going to do exactly the same all the way across this row. So I'll stop the video and you can pause yours, and I'll meet you at the end of this row. Actually, rewind that last instruction. I'm going to actually fasten off on this row because we've now got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 colours, and we've got the 7 colours of the rainbow. So the green is going to be this final band of the bandana. So for this part, we're now going to start with the green, and I'm going to chain 30 chains for the ties. Now if your dog is bigger, you'll probably have to do more chains to make the ties that little bit longer. It's quite difficult to know exactly how many chains to do, but the dogs that I'm doing these for are French bulldogs, which are quite small dogs. So for me, I'll be doing 30 chain, and then we'll start the first tie. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. And that's giving me around about, I'll just measure. It's giving me around about 7 inches stretched. So we would have 14 inches of tie, and then obviously the bandana itself is another 5 inches. So once I've done the 30, I'm going to work 3 chain, which is going to count as the first double. So 1, 2, 3, and then into the 4th chain from the hook, I'm going to work a half double, and I'm going to work half doubles all the way across. Sorry, the first 3 chain is going to count as the first half double. It just looks better if I do 3 chains than 2. So we just work half doubles all the way along, 1 in each chain. So again, if you want to pause the video and work along to the end of your chains, obviously if you've got a larger dog, you would have more chains to do the half doubles in. And I'll see you when I get to the end of my chain. So I've now got the chain and worked the half double into each of the stitches, each of the chains. So we're now going to join into the first stitch of the last colour that we worked, and we're going to work a single crochet. We're going to work a single into the next stitch and a single into the next stitch. Into the 3 chain space, we're going to work a slip stitch. And now we're going to work into these stitches here, so we're going to work a double into the first stitch, a half double into the next stitch, then we're going to work a single into the 3rd stitch and a slip stitch into the last. And then again into the next block we work a double into the first stitch, a half double into the next stitch, a single into the next stitch and a slip stitch. We're going to do exactly the same now all the way along the row. And I've got one single and a slip stitch, a double, a half double, a single and a slip stitch, a double, a half double, a single, and we're going to slip stitch into that final stitch. So we're now going to work 30 or more chains, which is going to form the other tie at the other side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and carry on until you've got the right amount of chain. Again, once you've got the amount of chains that you're going to need, I'm going to work 3 chain, and then into the 4th chain from the hook I'm going to work a half double. I'm going to do that all the way along, 1 half double in each chain. And you can pause the video again at this point until you've worked a half double in each of your chains, and I'll see you when I get back to this point here. I've worked a half double into each of the chains and we've got back to where the bandana is. I'm now just going to work 1 single crochet into each stitch all the way along until we get to where we finished the half doubles at the other side. So just into the stitch, pick up a loop, we're just going to work one single into each stitch across. That's including the slip stitches that we did on the previous row. Once you've worked the singles all the way across, we're just going to join the 2 ends that we've got left. So I'll see you when we get to this side here, working 1 single in each stitch across. We reach the other side, I'm just going to work a slip stitch into that first stitch to join, and then I'm going to snip off the yarn and pull the loop through. So that's the bandana complete, apart from all of these loose threads. And the way that I work these in, I would always, even though we've had a slip knot on the one colour, I would tie a knot into each one before I actually work the threads in. So each one will have a knot to secure. Then with a wool needle, I will then thread the 2 ends through the eye, and on each of the blocks I will then thread the needle through, pulling the threads through that way, and then you can take them back the other way for a little bit more of a secure fasten off. So just thread back through and then pull through those stitches there, and then we can snip off quite close and you can't see the edges. And the same again with the 2 ends that we've got here where the 2 ties meet. Fasten that into a secure knot, and then thread the two ends through the needle and run again that back and forth through the stitches just to secure those ends, so we don't want anything coming apart. And then just take it back the other way and snip off. We'll do exactly the same with all of the ends that we've got that are loose, so that we can work them in to give it a neat finish. And don't forget, when you are tying off the ends and working them in, that there will be the starting end from the very first block that we did, and also there will be an end on the last colour before the band. I do hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope you've now got a trendy bandana for your pampered pooch. Please subscribe to my channel, give the video a like, and I hope to see you again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.